In this presentation, we're going to talk about my home country, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, also known as Nigeria by its inhabitants. The name Nigeria was coined from the words Niger River, which flows through the country from the top to the bottom. It was coined by the British journalist Flora Shaw in the early 1960s. Nigeria was formed in 1914 by the merging of the southern Nigeria Pectorate and northern Nigeria Pectorates. And then this allowed the British to set up structures through indirect rule through the traditional chiefdoms that were then in place. Nigeria gained independence from the United Kingdom on October 1st, 1960. Although they did not fully form themselves as a republic until 1st of October 1963. Before then, the government was formed by a coalition of parties like the National People's Congress, the National Council of Nigeria Cameroons, and the Action Group, each being led by the major religions in play in the country at the time and now. The NPC being backed by the Islamic faith, which can be tied to the Hausas. The NCNC being backed by the Igbos, and the AG being backed by the Yorubas. This imbalance resulted in sharp opposition, which can still be felt today as most of the country is unpartial and not clear about what to do most of the time, because all they do is argue about different religions. Now, for the geography, Nigeria is located in Western Africa on the Gulf of Guinea. Its total area is approximately over 900,000 kilometer squares, which makes it the world's 32nd largest country after Tanzania. But in terms of population, there are over 186 million people, which is a bit much given the landmass. It has the third largest youth population aside from China and India. In terms of size, it's twice the size of California, and its size can be comparable to Venezuela, which has nowhere near the amount of population that Nigeria has. It's running through the country are two rivers, namely River Niger and River Benue. They form a Y across the country and then go all the way to Chad and then Niger here. They provide most of the fishery. They provide most of the fishery opportunities in Nigeria. There are four main geographical challenges of Nigeria. First is overpopulation. As you can see in this picture here, the red parts are where the population density is the most. As you can see, and even where there isn't any red spot is because it is uninhabitable, because it's mostly Sahara and vegetations. So, as I said earlier before, Nigeria's landmass is close to Venezuela, but our landmass cannot support our population, which gives rise to all the challenges. We have deforestation because there is not enough space in Nigeria due to the overpopulation. We have to hack down on the forests, which in turn causes which in turn causes deforestation and is a danger to us. But then this is like I felt we are giving like I felt we're given no choice on this matter. And then the third challenge that we're facing is urbanization. I feel urbanization is linked to these three challenges because urbanization is the roots of overpopulation, is the root of deforestation, is the root of pollution because urbanization is the rapid increase of the urban areas in Nigeria. With that, you would see a boom in population. You see a boom in space needed but can't be accommodated, so we have to hack down forests. And then there are a lot of non-biodegradable waste pollutions that evolve from large cities, which causes pollution in turn. But then, given all those challenges presented to us by our community, we also have opportunities that can be harnessed through the geography given to us. First of all, and first of all, it's agricultural, forestry, and fishing. Although although our forests are being hacked down, the ones that are available to us now, we are making the ample use of it because soil in Nigeria, the quality of soil in Nigeria compared to other countries is lacking. But due to centuries of us depending on agriculture, we've been able to make up for it through developing different, developing or absorbing different agricultural processes like farmland burning, like overcropping, overshadowing. And this allows us to innovate agriculture to its optimal level. Agriculture, forestry, and fishing alone provides food for two-thirds of the Nigerian population. As you can see, how it's there through these pictures. This gives like the various soil percentages in the maps and then what can be harnessed from there. Fish is rapidly becoming one of the economy's lifeline as it provides food for almost 70% of the country alone. Now, moving on from the geography of that, we'll talk about the political events that have happened or transpired to get Nigeria to where it is today. We have the independence, which is a national hallmark in our history, October 1st, 1960. Then we have when we became a republic. This and then contrary to popular belief, Nigeria's first republic is is starting from October 1, 1963. But it is written down in history that the Nigerian First Republic starts from 1960 to 66, which is false. Because 63 is when we first became a republic, and then 66 was the beginning of the first coup to take place after 3 years of us becoming a republic. Not even a decade into our independence. It was on January 15th that the first coup took place under the direction of General Igusi Ironsi, because he felt that the elections that took place were unfair and smelled of corruption. He then went to establish the federal military government in the same year of the coup. Then on May 27, 1967, General Yakubu Gowon, who then took over through a counter coup. He announces the subdivision of Nigeria into 12 states. Then on July 6th was from 1970 to January 15, 1970 was one of the darkest ages of Nigerian history, called the Nigerian Biafra War. The Nigerian Biafra War began on May 37th. It basically began on May 30th when General Chukwuemeka declared his province an independent republic called Biafra, because they felt that because his constituents, the Igbo people, felt that they could not live with Nigeria of today or of that time, so they declared their own country. But then Nigeria, after just facing different coups and everything, and after being separated from Southern Cameroon, could not take this, so they went into war with Biafra because they couldn't just have their country be divided like that. So they fought for almost 3 years. Almost 3 years. Within a year, the federal government, being obviously larger than the Biafra populace, surrounded Biafra and choked them out through a war of attrition. Biafra faced widespread famine, which led to the death of over 2 million civilians and over 100,000 military casualties. Biafra, in an attempt to harness aid, they spread videos and images of malnourished children to Western countries, and they received some in the force of France and Israel, but then Nigeria was in turn backed by Britain and Egypt. By October 22nd, by October 20, the garrison forces withdrew and they withdrew from Biafra. As of today, the constitution that create and enforce NTP law, we have the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, the NCAA, the JAMB, WAEC, and NECO, which are the educational bodies of Nigeria, because in Nigeria, the whole country follows one strict education regimen. The selection of officers in Nigeria is the same used in the US, because they follow elections through bicameral legislation. So they have two bodies. They have two bodies which consist of the House of Senate, that's the upper body, which has 109 members, and the lower body, which is the House of Representatives, which has 260 members. Each combines to make 469 members of the National Assembly of Nigeria. So they follow the same basis as the US through elections and popular representation. The key political figures that you'd see here are the President Muhammadu Buhari, the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, the Attorney General, and the Minister of Finance. I believe one thing that should be recognized about Nigeria now is that it's the number one most homophobic country in the planet, with 98% of Nigerians rejecting even the thought of gay people. Now in Nigeria, if you're gay, there are two laws that await you: the normal law and the Sharia law. The Sharia law requires stoning to death for gay people, while the normal law is 14 years imprisonment. And I believe the country that compares most to Nigeria is the UK, because they were the colonial masters and Nigeria is modeled after the UK.